It was a stormy night, the kind where the rain doesn't just fall, it attacks the windows. The wind howled, a low, mournful sound, like it was telling secrets meant only for the dead. This was the night Ion decided to finally explore the old abandoned house at the end of his street. Everyone in town had a story about it, but no one had dared to go inside for years. The house loomed over the street, a dark silhouette against the turbulent sky. Its windows were like vacant eyes, shattered and staring into nothing with each gust of wind. The broken panes rattled in their frames, a chaotic, skeletal music. Ion pushed open the heavy oak door, and it let out a long, loud creak that seemed to echo through the entire neighborhood. As he stepped over the threshold, the door slammed shut behind him with a deafening boom, sealing him inside the decaying structure. A wave of cold, musty air washed over him. The smell was thick, a mixture of damp wood, dust, and something else. Something faintly metallic and sweet. He switched on his torch, its beam cutting a nervous path through the oppressive darkness. The light revealed walls covered in strange, deep scratches, almost like giant claws had raked them from floor to ceiling. The wallpaper was peeling in long, damp strips, revealing the dark, rotting wood beneath. He stood in the grand foyer listening. The only sound was the storm raging outside and the frantic beat of his own heart. Then, he heard it. Footsteps. Directly above him. They were slow, deliberate, each thudding step resonating through the floorboards. One step, a pause, then another. The house was supposed to be empty. It had been for decades. Hello. Ion's voice cracked, sounding small and frail in the vast, empty hall. Is anyone there? His question was swallowed by an unnerving silence. The footsteps had stopped. He held his breath, straining to hear anything at all. Then, a shadow flickered at the edge of his torchlight. It darted across the far end of the hallway, a fleeting shape that moved against the direction of the light. It was tall and unnaturally thin. Panic began to bubble in his chest. His first instinct was to run, to get out, but curiosity, a morbid, powerful force, pulled him deeper. He found himself moving towards the grand staircase, his feet heavy as lead. He had to see who, or what, was up there. With every step he took, the old wood groaned and protested, as if the house itself was warning him to turn back. He reached the top of the stairs and shone his light down the long, dark corridor. Dust motes danced in the beam like tiny, ghostly insects, and at the very end of the hallway, partially hidden in the shadows of a corner, he saw it, a figure. It was standing perfectly still, its form barely distinguishable from the darkness surrounding it. He moved the torchlight closer, and his blood ran cold. The figure had no discernible features, just a pale, smooth face with two dark hollow sockets where its eyes should be, and those hollows were staring directly at him. He was frozen, trapped by that empty gaze. Time seemed to stop. Then, a whisper slithered through the air, seeming to come from all around him. It was a dry, rasping sound, but it formed his name perfectly. Ion. The voice was both chillingly unfamiliar and yet terrifyingly. It held a trace of someone he knew, a voice from his childhood he couldn't quite place. Suddenly, his torch flickered once, twice, and died, plunging him into absolute, suffocating darkness. Before he could even scream, he felt an icy cold hand clamp down on his shoulder. Its grip was impossibly strong, the fingers digging into his flesh. A voice hissed directly into his ear, its breath like a winter wind. You shouldn't be here. Terror finally broke his paralysis. He tore himself away and ran. He ran blindly, stumbling through the darkness, crashing into broken furniture and unseen obstacles. He didn't care about the pain, he just had to get out. He scrambled down the stairs, his feet barely touching the steps. He fumbled for the front door, his hands shaking so badly he could hardly find the knob. He finally wrenched it open and burst out into the storm. He didn't stop running until he was back under the dim glow of the porch light of his own home. Gasping for breath, he leaned against the door, his body trembling uncontrollably. The street was empty, silent except for the rain. He glanced down at a large puddle that had formed on his walkway, its surface reflecting the porch light. But in that reflection, he saw not only himself, but the figure from the house, standing right behind him, its hollow eyes still fixed on his.